week.
So,
I'm going to start calling on names if I don't hear from you. And there's Christina. So kick us off, girlfriend. I'm eating my breakfast too.
me too, me too. Well, I made it back to the gym again. I This is only week two. Well, yesterday was week three, so I'm taking that as my win this week because it was a rough weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the rough weekend.
I just didn't plan properly, and then I kind of ate like I'll steal Anne's words, a trash panda a couple of times. I
Oh,
ate like a trash panda, and that was ugly. And then I woke up yesterday morning, and my fingers were swollen, my face was swollen. It wasn't good. Wasn't good.
so
But we reset yesterday, and I shopped, and I've got tons of food, and I've already walked today, and I got my workout in yesterday, and I walked, and yeah. So
that's the key, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to get back on track. But
Yeah.
here's the thing though. I say that, and it is super important to get back on track. But sometimes I also like to like, where do you think that came from? Because sometimes it's good to like identify like what those situations are, like what are tied to it, because sometimes we can nip that in the butt. Sometimes it's just because, but sometimes
Yeah.
there's a emotion behind it.
I was with my family, and so my mom made her potato salad that we don't eat very often. And I
Mm,
was like, oh, and it was my grandmother's recipe, it's one of those. And then my son smoked ribs, and I was like, okay. And then there was all this and you know what it is? It's my parents' house.
mm.
I know this about that house. And so before I went, I was like, okay, I ate my breakfast, I had my post-workout shake, and then I got there, and I don't know, it's just, there's something about being there. I don't know.
So, but okay, so let's diagnose this a little bit and
Yeah, let's
dive
do
in.
it.
So first of all, you talked about things that you really enjoy. So you should have them, right?
Yeah,
The potato, what I don't know, would you say the potato salad, the
potato
smoke?
salad.
Okay.
Yeah,
So why don't you account that that's going to happen?
yeah,
Pack it, eat
yep,
it. And why don't you bring another meal with you if you're going to be there for a while so that you
yeah.
don't continue to eat, but maybe you have that,
Hmm.
but and you say, well, I'm going to have a few bites of this, I'm going to have a few bites of that, or whatever it is you want, but you stick to the things that you really want because there's only two things that you really called out. The rest of it you called
I
junk,
know. The rest was junk and I ate it.
right?
I had
So
some blueberry pie. I had
mm,
like the chip and dip. And yeah, go look at my tracker. It's terrible.
yeah. And so that's the thing, guys. You got to think about this. Like as Chris, plan ahead. So like if you go to your parents, think about what it is that you really want. And you did the
Mm,
right thing. You ate before. So I was
yeah,
gonna say, did you eat before?
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then account for the ribs and the potato salads. You're gonna have a little bit of that when you go there,
Mm,
right? You track it, you're gonna
yep.
have it, but maybe you have another meal with you so that you don't have the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
Or ask yourself, like, why am I eating this? It's because
And
it's
that's, I
there.
think, that's the thing for me. Like,
Because it
why?
doesn't sound like if you said, oh my God, I love all those things, you didn't. You only called out two things that you really
Hmm.
enjoy and want.
Yeah.
And
In
that's
hindsight, I was like, why did I do that?
yeah.
You know what it is? It's like my sister and my mother. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah. You
No,
guys
that's
know.
all really real stuff. Like, and then
Yeah.
so I mean, not to dive into it super deep here, but it's to look into it. There's so many things, Christina, you kind of just flipped when I went to. Um, that it could be there could be things, and I'm just calling shit out. I'm not telling you that this is what it is. Sometimes
Mm,
it's pressure, sometimes it's what are they going to think if I'm doing this.
mm,
Sometimes it's like it could just be it's easier. I just gonna make it life easier on them. I don't want to make
mm-hmm,
them uncomfortable. There's like
mm-hmm,
so many stories. So like spending some time like I wonder what this was because I really only wanted these things.
mm-hmm.
And I went, so what is it? Like
Yeah.
it's just like kind of looking at that because we all know it's going to happen again.
Mm-hmm,
Life is always going to be lifing, as we know.
mm-hmm.
You know,
Facts. Yep.
yeah, food
That,
for things to ponder, right?
yes, definitely. We reset yesterday and we're on a good path.
And that's
So,
perfect. That's exactly what we do. Like,
yeah.
I just wanted to kind of like, I think sometimes it's worth exploring. You did everything right. You ate before, you reset, like nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with eating, outside and doing what you did. Like the
Mm,
key is consistency. But if it's something that happens over and over again, sometimes to like look into it. And that's what I wanted to see. Like, is it something
yeah.
that you really want, or is it something that you do just because?
Yeah.
Because we do a
Good.
lot of things just because. But I think
I
there's a little both going on there, Mama.
I think you're right. It's
Yeah.
definitely both. Yes. Yep.
Share, I like it. Who
Thank
else has
you.
got a share for me? Hi, Stacy. She's working at the gym.
Yep. I'm on a minute break.
You're on a minute break. What's your win, Mama?
Um, I maintained. I didn't lose, but I maintained. The job I have requires me to be on call for a full week, 24 hours a day, and most of my calls come at night, so I don't get a whole lot of sleep during that week. About every 6 weeks it happens,
Mhm.
and so I was super tired. Most nights I got like 2 hours of sleep, and a lot of stress. But I still did my workouts. Did well with my meal plan, and then just maintained. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that
I
was
know, and I
my
know, like
win.
on your, I'll let talk. I mean, I know you're just on a minute break, but like, I know, like you were a little like struggle, but like I said on your check-in, like the reality is you were pushing through, which, on a couple hours of sleep, so your body right now is catching up. Even though you have more energy, you feel good, and again, the scale isn't always the thing. That's the body composition, it's the strength, it's all of the things. And I know there were some feelings there, but girlfriend, you're kicking ass, and it's just kind of dialing out. And I think that most of these women here can testify to the mental thing that comes with this sometimes. Like there are a lot of, they're shaking their head right there. There are a lot of mental things. It's a completely different shift, and looking for the wins that are outside of, the scale moving, which by the way, the scale moves a lot. And guys, this is something like I want to talk about. Like when you're on a fat loss journey, you have to remember that specifically in the beginning, there is no linear line. It does not go straight across down that like the screen like this. That line is very much squiggly. It's always going to be, that is normal body composition. It is always going to be this squiggly line. But when you look up at it at close, which is how you guys are looking at it, it looks like this. But when you dial back out and you pull out of it, say over a span of a few months, and you're looking, so think of a graph. Like if you look at a graph, because that's exactly what this is, and if you're looking at it at a short span of time, that graph is going to look really drastic, like it's got lots of highs and lows. But when you pull out from it, you'll see that it's still in this downward motion. It's just squiggly. And that's completely normal, because you have to remember, guys, again, the scale, I can say this over and over, and it's still hard to remember, but it is weight, and weight is so many things. Weight is your bones, weight is your muscle, weight is your body fat, but weight is also water, weight is also your organs, weight is like so many things. If you didn't take a poop that morning, you could weigh a little bit more. If you weigh, this is why I tell you guys check-ins. Like, while I tell you you have all day to get them in, get your ass out of bed, do your business, get on the scale, take your pictures, do your check-ins first thing in the morning. Like after you've used the restroom, before you've eaten, get it out of the way. Number one, get your check-ins out of the way. They're done. Your coach might even get them done early if you do that. And two, like that's consistency. You're going to see differences if you let it slide, and you check in the middle of the day. So all of those things factor in. So you got to think about that stress. Stacy had a hard week the week before. Even though I told her to kind of chill a little, she still decided to push in the gym, and she still did the thing. So her body this week, so she lost weight that week, but this week she's maintained because her body's like, holy fucking shit, like that, it's probably recovering from a lot of stress. So you guys got to remember that there's a lot of things that factor in. Water is being one of the biggest ones, because inflammation, water, remember you're 60% water. Hell, if you don't drink enough water one day, you could actually weigh more. because you're dehydrated. Good share, Stacy. Um, Sandy Dion, you're having all kinds of damn wins. It's like a flip switched in your head. I don't know. It's like ding ding every time I read your check-in. Do you need some help? There you go.
There we go. Yeah, no, it's been great. I think my hardest thing now is I'm at home, so I was just looking at the clock going, "Oh, I should probably have my snack soon." I don't have that schedule of my classroom routines to be like, "Now's when you eat this and now's when you do that." So, but no, things have been going great. I can't complain at all.
No, you've been really doing good, like making that shift. But before I use you as an example and have you talk a little bit, I'm going to give you a tip. This is how you stay on schedule.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. This
Yep.
is how I stay on
No,
schedule.
I I'm working on it.
Yep, set
Today is
all those
day
alarms.
2 of being home, like completely independent, and usually like I still had PD even though school was out and whatever. So today's day 2. I'm working on all sorts of modifications and making things better. So yeah, I have a timer to go off at 10.
Set those alarms. Mine go off all the time. I'm currently in Salt Lake City with Nicole, my alarm tasker. She's like, time to eat. She's yelling across the house as my alarms are going off. Time to eat. I know. It's time to go for a walk. It's time to go to the gym. Alarms are your best friend, specifically when you're
Yeah.
home alone and you need reminders.
Yeah,
But
you get involved.
yeah, you totally do. I do. So I want you to kind of talk a little bit about this because I love this for some of the new ones. Because you were kind of in a space that at one point in time, that they were where holy shit, this feels foreign, this feels uncomfortable. Am I gonna have to do this? This feels even so much as a diet. And we've had several conversations that no, this is a lifestyle, this is learning, this is stacking habits. And what's been really funny with to watch fun, not funny, fun to watch you, Sandy, is because you did come in that space as you've been evolving, like currently your last two check-ins, specifically this one, like you're really leaning into the macros. You are truly enjoying life. You stick to the nutrition plan, but
Yeah, this
you also eat out. You also do things, you use macros. I think you said you love the macro math game.
yeah, I'm a math teacher, so it works for me. No, for real, when I was first doing it, I didn't understand the macros. So like I was given this plan and I was like, okay, this is what I have to eat, but I wasn't really paying attention to the numbers. It was new. So I was so focused on I need this for turkey and I need this and the meal prep and that I wasn't looking at it. And I was like, I kept saying, Jules, I don't understand. And so then I kind of, once that became more routine, now I have staples in my house that this past month I've had graduations and baby showers and bridal showers and a wedding coming up and I'm going to the lake this Sunday and Father's Day. All of those things came in and suddenly I was like, wait a minute, I don't want to be the one sitting there having my ground turkey while everybody's enjoying roast beef or steak tip kebabs or something. So I finally understood how to use the macros, and that's when I built in the thing. So like when I went to the bridal shower, I just ate before and after and I just didn't eat anything there because it was a quick one. For Father's Day when we're all gathered around the table, I put in that morning the kebabs, figured out how much I could have, how much of everything, and then I built everything else from that. And I'm starting to understand, what is a carb, what is the fat, what is this, what is that, and how to trade those out. And last night I spent a lot of time. I'm going to the lake with some friends on Thursday, and I don't want to be like, I'm on a diet or I'm on a plan or because I'm not. Like this is my life now. So I'm gonna go to the lake and I'm gonna say I brought my lunch because I want to make sure I stay, within my realm kind of thing. And my friends won't really care. They'll, probably be like, oh, Dion, you're going to miss out. But that's just them teasing me. Um, but I spent so much time on Thursday trying to fit in a sandwich because that's easy to pack.
Mhm.
So I'll grind up my chicken and I'll throw it in the blender and I'll throw in my broccoli and I'll use the fat, the avocado as my fat for the mayonnaise kind of thing to make it stick. Put a little on the bread. So I made sure that that day, instead of having the ground turkey and sweet potatoes, I put in bread. Then I figured out how much chicken, and then I knew I needed fat and the broccoli. And I just kind of built my whole day from that one lunch and kind of went from there as far as what I needed to do. And
And
it's working.
yeah, it is. And I want to like as people listen to this, it just because I say this all the time in the beginning, it happens, doesn't it? After consistency, like it just happens. You start to get consistent. So you started calling out some things like, oh, I know what to eat. I know what to because guys, here's the thing. Sandy literally, she put in the nutrition. She tracked, a lot of you guys that are new, you're like, the first thing you say, I think even Sandy, you might have said this to me. Why in the fuck am I tracking my meal plan? Like, I know what to eat. Why you're telling me what to eat? Why am I putting this into my fitness pal? There's a method, there's a madness to it. It starts to create this consistency, this habit. It starts to visually get you to see these things. And that's where I say some of these things just start to like, oh, wait a minute, I do know how to do this. Do you agree,
Yeah.
Andy? Like, because that's literally what I started to see evolve with you. Granted, you like math and numbers, but still.
But yeah, no, I started to understand like avocado is a fat. And I used to be like, oh, I'll put in rice. And then I look at the macros for rice. I'm like, there's no real carbs in rice. Or even now, I don't remember exactly. But it's like, that's not my source of fat. That's my source of, I think that is a carb kind of thing. And oh, wait, my protein is basically meat with a little here and there. So like when I needed something extra for like the lunch, I was like, oh, blueberries. That would be a great, so I just looked at all their numbers and found out which house they belonged in. And then I could build it from there. So,
I love it. Thank you for
yeah.
sharing. So guys, like that's it. So like learning to do those things and like, you hear her calling out a lot of things that are on her nutrition. That's why we have you do this. And if you start to save these things, you're in my fitness pal, it becomes pretty easy when you're trying to build things out because they're just going to show up there because you're using them over. And that's where you're going to have that aha moment and go, oh, wait a minute, blueberries are a carb source. Those would go really good. By the way, blueberries and sweet potatoes, like those two are like seriously good carb sources. You start to learn because we're building these guides for you in the beginning for a reason. We want you to start to realize not just what whole foods are, because many of you guys come in and, if we were just to tell you to track macros, who in here would have been able to just track macros? Here's your macros. Well, Christina, you kind of came from that. Yeah. What happened when you got a guide? A lot.
Okay. Well, you know what helped me when you told me to like preload my fitness pal for the week
Mm-hmm.
because everything was art. I was like, that makes no sense. But then I sat down and it was a pain in the butt to do it the first time to like create all the meals and put it all in. But once it was done, it's easy to add. But then once it's in there for the week, it's almost like you make it happen because it's already there,
I
you
think,
know?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
else.
And then if you switch something out, like it's easy to switch because you're just maybe changing your protein or like, yeah, just that helped me.
Yeah, totally.
Hmm.
That's another help. That's a
Hmm.
huge win. And then, guys, here's the other secret sauce to that. You're saving those as meals. Like I don't always do this. I'm not as good at it. Coach Jen's better at doing this, but you save those as meals. Now, if you've got a favorite meal, you can like exactly. You can now you could even put, oh, hey, this meal right here, I absolutely love this meal and it actually fits my macros because that way, guys, as we start to shift you out of like, or I start to give you multiple guides to choose from, you now also have your favorite meals. So now you have your macros. And if you don't like anything that's on the nutrition plan, you can also go back to your favorite meal and plug that bad boy in, kind of like Sandy just was talking about. Like maybe she doesn't like she's following her macros. I've given her a couple of meal plans, but maybe she finds something that fits her macros, and you would do what Sandy said, you'd build around it. Like, this is my favorite meal. Now I'm going to build around that and hit my macros. But the whole idea of these guides is just that. Like, yes, in the beginning, we want you to follow them, but keep in mind, they're there to guide you, right? And in the beginning, we help you a little bit more. So, like, true to Trisha, like, we help you a little bit more, obviously, because we got to start to teach you how to swap out foods and what's what. But as you listen to these guys here, like, I wanted them to share, because you will get there. You'll get to the place where it will automatically make sense. And you're like, oh, I know what to swap. I know how to do this. It just starts to happen. So it's the consistency thing. And then you got Barb over here that's just writing her own meal plans now in her macros. Who else has got a win or a share for me? I've got people that are on no face, so I'm assuming you're driving, working, getting ready. Brandy's walking. Brandy, are you done food poisoning yourself? Oh, God.
Still recovering.
Oh,
Yeah, that was fun.
feeling a little better?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, getting there. It's a problem when you have a stomach problem and then you get food poisoning. Is so much fun.
Not fun at all. So Brandy, yeah, tried to take herself out last week with that properly cooked food. Well, at least you discovered it. So do you have a win on top of all anything?
Yeah, I put in the chat that I finally on Sunday extra meal prepped like we were talking about for when, because we were traveling so much in those 60 days, like every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so I extra meal prepped and froze it so that when I come back and I don't have meal prep, I can grab and go. And then yesterday in court, because Mondays are my hard day because I sit all day. I can't leave the courtroom. And every time I would talk to an attorney, I would walk around the courtroom in between the breaks while we discussed cases. And then ask some of the other people to walk with me. And they're like, I'm trying to get my steps in too. Okay, I'll walk with you. So then we'd walk in circles inside the courtroom, just trying to get our steps in. So we'll find ways, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I love you being inventive. And guys, that is huge. So there's a few of you guys that have run into this problem. I think Crystal Lewis, I chatted with you about that on your check-in. So like, yeah, guys, when you meal prep, get in the habit of over prepping your food. It doesn't have to be by this monstrous amount, but if every time you meal prep, you overcook your food a little bit and freeze it, when you have these situations, which you guys are going to have, it helps you to be prepared and have food available so you're not caught with, your pants around your ankles when you come back from traveling or a trip and you can't get to meal prep right away. So I'm glad to hear that you did that, Brandy. It is definitely a sweet hack. Like, my freezer is full of food. It's always chucked full. So because that shit happens all the time. So it's a good, so those of you guys that are new, like, take that, write that shit down. Remember to do that. Start, because there's certain things that are going to be staples, guys, that they're always going to be. I mean, there's only so many lean meats that you can have, carb sources that you're going to be usually, utilizing over and over. All right. See you later, Jen. Kate, I see ya. Who else has got a win? Trudy, how you doing week one? I see you meal prepping, doing all the things. Talk to us. How's it going?
Hi. My meal prep this week went well. I stuck to the program, stuck to everything I was supposed to eat. I prepped everything. I do cook midweek because I'm at home, so that helps a lot. So this is the start of my second week, and it's actually exciting. I'm doing more steps every day, drinking more water, just doing everything that you talked to me about in my check-in. So
Yeah.
it's been doing well. Yes.
What's exciting about it? Do share.
What's exciting? So I've had previous hip surgery. So the exciting part for me is just being able to move again, not feeling that pain every day. I do sit for work, so I now stand at my desk. So just the little wins. I mean, it does make a big difference. It makes you feel better when you get out of bed in the morning. So yeah.
Love that.
Mhm.
That's what this is about, because this isn't, and guys, we call it, we've all these names for it, but at the end of the day, guys, it's lifestyle. That's what you're learning, is a new lifestyle. So when you say these things, Trudy, they're not just little wins, those are big wins. Those are
Mhm.
really big
Yeah.
shifts. So well done, lady. Love
Yeah.
it. Who else has got a win for me? Laura, are you driving, Mama? Trisha? I see. Are you guys able to come off of camera, share a win, type it, something? I don't know what Trisha is.
Jules, listen,
Listen.
I literally just rolled out of bed.
Well, you don't
I
have to turn your
set my
camera
alarm. Okay, good. Because I'm like, I had to apologize. I mean, I did set my alarm, but I slept through it because it was a very late night. Anyway, no excuses. Uh, I feel like there's lots of wins, and um, I've been focusing so hard on the scale moving as a win, but
on.
since I've started, and my husband and my daughter, who's home from college, are like, hey, listen, let's go for that walk after work today. So not only am I doing like my stuff, but my steps are, I mean, anywhere from 15,000 to 20,000 a day, which my goal is just 10, right?
Right.
But when they say that, it's like, well, yeah, let's do it. I mean, so I'm getting family time. So I feel like
Mhm.
uh more so than anything right now, my wins are, yes, physical, but that family time is really precious.
I love that. I love
So
that.
I know that's
No,
um
that's a huge win. And I think there's even more to it. You know what I mean? Like, this is, a lot of times we feel like we're going to get resistance from our family and friends. And it's really good to see, your family lean into that, because it's rubbing off, right?
right. And I did tell you that, I let them listen to your check-in message.
Mm.
And so every day, whether it's a little annoying, they're like, "Hey, how's your food going? Did you eat today? Did you remember to eat? Where are your macros at now?" So, yeah, it's
Awesome.
helpful to have them their support.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Some of you guys come up with the most unique ways of leaning in, and I absolutely love that. I forgot that you put that on your check-in, or that you shared that with me. And I've had guys like, you know best what's going to work with you. I've had women come on this call and say, "Listen, I sat my family down, and I had a board meeting." Like, she literally called it a board meeting, and she said, "Listen, this is the way shit's going to go down, and these are the things that I need support with, and I need help with, because mom's going to start creating space and time for herself." And so, like, Trisha did something similar. She literally had her family listen to her check-in. But by doing things like this, guys, it's like asking for help. But I think, like, one thing I want to say here is, we as women don't like to ask for help, do we? If anybody in here says I'm really cool with asking for help, you're lying. Because we hate to ask for help. We want to do it all ourselves, but finding that way to do things, even if it's setting those boundaries or saying, "Listen, these are the things that I'm going to do. So this is what I need." And if it takes having somebody like, that was unique. I was like, well, that's one way to do things. But finding that, whatever that is for you, I can't tell you what it is. So I love that she did that at the board meeting. I thought was phenomenal as well. But whatever it is, to like get that support that you need. And I love that. And I'll tell you what, not just Trisha, when you do those things, usually the wins that you'll come back with are similar to what Trisha said. You're gonna get that support. Sandy, I know your husband supports you 100% too. Like, he's very involved, because you talk about that a lot. So, like, bringing.
Yeah, he actually checks my Fitness Pal when he gets my supper going. He's like, "Where's your phone? I got to figure out," because I've been making slight changes that I have it in a notebook. But he's like, I know it's not their usual. So yeah, he'll steal my phone and do my Fitness Pal. And on the way to gym, that's usually when we listen to your check-ins, and we do it together too, just so he kind of knows. And it's my way of telling him how I'm feeling without being hey, honey, this is how I'm feeling. So when you respond to some of the stuff, he'll look at me. I'm like, yeah, I said, and then that conversation generates. And we're in a car, so it's not like, we're talking in front of other people, or like we're in that space where it just opens up that dialogue a lot more. So
That's interesting. See, listen, you guys are learning. That's interesting. I don't remember what I'm saying. Watch what I'm saying in my damn check-ins. You guys are sharing them with the world. Just kidding. All right. I love this stuff. Who else has got something for me? Barb's over here showing off her guns. Um, Lori. Laura is driving almost to her destination. We have Lori new on here. Trisha, thanks for sharing. Crystal, are you working, Mama? Are you having the ability to share yet? Kate's coming off. She says she's almost ready. Drop your wins. All right, so while we're waiting for these peeps. Oh, here comes Kate.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I'll be careful with my camera. Like this is where we're at right now because I just got home from the gym. Um, no, I think that as we talked in the check-in, I can't remember who said it that they said often their check-ins are related to their scale,
Mhm,
and I think I've had that mental thing too of, oh, if the scale doesn't go down, it's not a win.
mhm.
Um, and I put on the shorts, which I'm still convinced they're not the right size. Absolutely convinced because I'm in Old Navy 10s right now for jeans, and these are sixes. And I'm like, this is not a six. It's absolutely not a six. But in any case, they're shorts that I haven't fit in a long time. Um, so that felt good to put on a pair of shorts, and they fit. And so that felt really good. So I think my win is just the mental. I'm in it. I'm doing it. I'm considering myself, a bodybuilder, and I'm just dialing it in and I'm just getting it done.
I love that. Whatever you got to do. I love that. And guys, listen, I love that you guys are sharing this and starting to understand this because, I mean, Kate's not alone. None of you are alone. We spend so much time identifying our self-worth with a fucking scale. Like it is ridiculous. And so like it isn't, so I love to see that you guys are finding these other wins, like the clothes that are fitting, the way that you look in the mirror, people noticing, like when you guys come into your check-ins and you're like, Crystal, like I'm gonna share her win. She wrote it in the chat, but like, her belt, buckling her belt another notch. She also, her wins were, I can remember, but let me read them here. She bought her first pair of workout shorts in a smaller size. That was in her check-in yesterday. She wore shorts in public for the second time in a row. And what else did she say? Oh, and this is a really good one, and because she shared it in the chat, guys, and you can go read it in the chat. I'm going to be open and share it with her. I wasn't going to say anything because it was in her check-in and it was pretty private, but she did share it with you guys in the chat. She had a mental episode, or she had a situation that was mentally challenged, and in the past, over a past relationship, and in the past, she would have turned to food, and she didn't. Instead, she called a friend and for to talk to and to work it out with. So like for her, she was like, that was a huge shift, and I'm sure it is for a lot of us, because emotionally, like, what do we want to do? Like, Christ, you watch it on television, right? What is it like? What's that show I used to watch with the three girls, Sex in the City? They were always diving into pints of ice cream over men. So like it's something that we're ingrained in. So like, and I'm just using that as an example, but emotions are tied to food, and that's 90% of why we're all here, right? So that's a huge win, Crystal. I think we all need to drop her some fire for that one because that's a tough one. But yes, so but like those kind of wins, guys, those are huge when you have those aha moments like Sandy figuring out the macros, you know, Christina, like, oh fuck, Jules actually is on to something here. Preload my food. Who would have thought my coach knew what the hell she was doing, you know? I'm teasing you, Christina. You're fitting into a pair of shorts like Kate or Crystal. All of these things, you got to take these things as big wins and look at them because they're huge, and those are the money makers.
I wore shorts to the gym.
You did too. Oh, that's right, I forgot.
To the gym.
Yes. Oh, to the gym. Oh.
To the gym. I was like, I can do this. And it was the day that I had that one where you lay down on the thing and like and you
Leg
guys know,
curl. Yeah.
yeah, that. And I was like in shorts,
In
but
short.
I did it twice.
Crystal, you got
You
yourself a
guys,
girlfriend here.
it's
All
the
right.
little things, right?
Yeah, it is. We all need to drop Christina some fire for that one too. That's huge.
Twice,
I love it.
twice.
Keep it up.
Hmm.
Who gives a shit? I love it.
No, done.
Right?
I'm done. Yeah, it's just we're going in the right
Well, and
direction.
anyway, I mean, you you made some huge changes. I mean, your little legs are starting to develop very nicely. I'm so glad you're going to the gym because now we're going to cook with some real steam.
Thank you.
She's like, oh, I know.
Hmm.
Ask Kate about Jules' gym workouts. She loves them. You'll see that in the community.
Okay.
She swears at
Four
me.
sets. Four sets are
Oh,
like, we need to have a talk, Jules, on this
yeah,
four set thing.
yes. I also have four sets and some things. Hmm.
So do I.
Yeah, it's so fun.
All right, ladies. Love these wins. Love these wins. All right, all right, all right. Anybody else have anything that they want to share? Crystal, thank you for the note. She's at work. Let me look. Scroll up. Kate's getting dressed. Laura, have you reached your destination yet? Lori is on the call. Lori or Laura, either one of you want to come off mute and share? Our newbies. Don't be shy. We love you. All right, guys. Well, if that is it, I'm gonna go get the rest of my steps in. I was actually, you guys really led this conversation in some pretty great directions. What I want to say to you guys is lean into your community too. I love that I'm seeing you guys leaning into the communities and sharing like in Coach Jules community, as well as like Eat to Slay, those types of communities. Continue to do that because how many of you get really excited when you see somebody like Sandy post how she recreated a meal? Yes, Barb. Or like, okay, so take that into account when you do something yourself. Go into like Coach Jen is kind of taken over Eat to Slay now. She's going to start doing a little bit more, but you can share in, your food there if you want to share with all of Team Becoming Her because you have a huge community. And then, of course, there's our community coach, Jules, sharing in there as well. So, leaning into the communities is huge. And it helps me a lot, guys, too, when you guys do that. Specifically, like if you have, and this has always come to me, but like if you guys have like general questions, like what time's the combos with Jules? Did I miss? Ask like leaning into your community for general questions is really helpful to me because I'm sure somebody in here would have your back on that. So if it's something that, or if you need some ideas, because I'm not always going to be readily available to answer these things, or sometimes I'm doing really things that you really want me to do, like your check-ins, those things, or I'm responding to things that you really need me with. So it's not that I don't, but I wanted to say one, I love to see you guys blowing up the community, inspiring each other. Remember, we've always got new people coming in. So those of you guys that have been here for a while, like them seeing you guys is super powerful. Those of you that are new, Trudy, Stacy, Stacy, you've been in there. She's always the one lifting King Kong. But going into the community and asking questions or leaning into these guys, like, you have me, but don't forget you have this community too. And it's a very powerful community full of some powerful women. So leaning in there and making sure, I love to see all your faces here coming to Coach Jules, because who here ever gets a question and comes to one of these calls and doesn't learn? Raise your hand if you come to this call and you've never learned something. Yeah, I don't think so. Have you ever come to this call and got an answer to a question you didn't know you had? Yeah, exactly. So these are super valuable calls. I do try to record them, but when you guys show up, holy shit, you're just creating more value for everybody, because generally, people are hearing from, all different sources, getting great ideas, not just getting answers to questions that you didn't know you have, but hearing things like, oh shit, that's a really good idea. I have a feeling my check-ins are going to get played for everybody now. I'm going to have to watch my lips. That's a really good idea. I love it. All right. Anybody got anything else before I close out for the morning? Nope. All right. Peace. Love, guys. See y'all later.